Phasmophobia is not a scary game, or in my opinion it isn't. Now before you guys burn me to ashes down in the comments, I do want to make a couple things clear. First, this is my opinion and you have the right to disagree with everything that I have to say in this video. And just because I don't think that Phasmophobia is a scary game, do I also think that it's a bad video game, because it isn't like that. I still like to play Phasmophobia with my friends from time to time. Now to what all of you guys have been waiting for. When I think of scary horror games or movies that includes ghosts or paranormal activity, I think of doors smashing behind you, creepy things outside the window, super nerve-wracking sounds and all. Now I do think that Phasmophobia implements some of these aspects quite well in the game. I will admit that Phasmo does contain some pretty scary sounds that sets the tone for the scary environment, and the scary parts are also somewhat unpredictable when it comes to the ghost events and when the ghost hunts. Where my problem starts are with everything else. Where are the fast opening and closing doors? Where is the paranormal activity other than the occasional throwing of cups and plates? Why does the house not feel possessed other than the lights turning off by themselves or the plates getting thrown at you? Why do the hiding spots suck? And what is with the jump scare? Let's first cover the environment, because I don't think that all of the levels suffer from a lack of scary aspects. Quickly run through them all. I don't think that any of the houses are scary because they are either too big and too boring because the environments are too basic. The campsites are way too open and also have little to nothing when it comes to a scary environment. Point Hope is also not much better, but I will say that the hiding spots are much better in this map in contrast to the others. Now the prison, Brownstone High School and Sunny Meadows are all in my opinion great maps if they were smaller, or if there was more than just one ghost on each map. And yes, I do know that the restricted Sunny Meadows exist, but I still think that the map is too big. The last maps are the farmhouses, which in my opinion are the best maps in terms of implementation of a scary environment. So if I think that at least two of the maps in Phasmo are scary, then why do I still think that it's not a scary game? Well, even though both of the farmhouses have a scary environment, they still don't have scary interactions, because the only scary interactions you really can have in Phasmo is the ghost attacking or scaring you, and it becomes kinda dry after the 200th time you've heard this sound. It's just not enough with one ghost, a light source that can be turned on or off, and plates and cups getting thrown at you. It needs more in order to be and stay scary, maybe not forever, but at least for a good while. So what interactions would make both of the farmhouses more scary? The first is, of course, I quickly mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but where are the fast self-opening and closing doors? It's one of the most characteristic paranormal activities, and Phasmo just doesn't have them. I know that the game does have self-opening and closing doors, but they are just too slow, and they are also missing a loud door closing sound. And I also think that Phasmo could utilize its doors more by adding a lock on specific doors that you would be able to lock and unlock in order to make for a more scary and interesting experience. Now, I don't think that locking yourself in a room means that you're totally safe from the ghost, because that would just make the rooms too safe and boring if you could just camp out in a room and be safe from the ghost. The way I think that this door locking mechanic should work is that you're able to lock the door, and that gives you a bit more time to hide from the ghost, because I sometimes think that if you don't have a smudge stick and if you're playing on some of the higher difficulties, I just think that you don't really stand a chance against the ghost. And this might just be a skill issue on my part, and I would love to hear about your guys' thoughts about getting attacked by the ghost, and if you think that it's sometimes too difficult or even unfair. Thanks. I know that the ghost's ability to hunt down the player is the biggest use of paranormal activity that a video game or a movie can have. But where is everything else? Where are the sounds of windows getting smashed or furniture moving on its own, and just about every other paranormal event that is associated with ghosts and spirits? You could say that the ghost is too weak to do any of that stuff. Okay, but the ghost has no problem killing you, or at least that's what I think happens after you see the jump scare. which we will get back to. So if the ghosts have the power to kill you, then why shouldn't it also have the power to break a window or close a door in your face? I think that the design of the hiding spots in Phasmo are great and well thought out. The thing I don't understand about them is why you get less and less hiding spots the higher the difficulty is. Some of you may just call it a difficulty curve, but I'd like to think otherwise. I generally don't think that the design of Phasmo's hiding spots could be any better than what they already are, which is why I'm that much more sad about the game limiting the use of them the further you get into the game. Sure, you get the smudge stick as a way to defend yourself with, but I think that the smudge stick just becomes a new way of hiding yourself from the ghosts, making the hiding spots that already are in the game feel kinda unimportant or even useless. Or maybe it's just me, please comment your thoughts down below. And I do want to say that the hiding spots on Point Hope is a step in the right direction if you have played that map. This is arguably the worst part of the game, and in short also the biggest reason why I think that Phasmophobia isn't a scary game. Now, I have talked about overuse of jump scares and why you shouldn't make a horror game scary based on jump scares alone, but in contrast to everything I have said throughout this video, I think that Phasmo truly does its best to scare the player in other and unique ways that isn't just a cheap jump scare. Even with that said, I still think that the jump scare in Phasmo is god awful. Way too slow and just downright boring. And I'm on the brink of saying that they would have been better without it, but I still have to remember that this is all my opinion, and that the jump scare in Phasmo may be the most scary thing that exists for some people that isn't me. So if you think that Phasmophobia is the scariest game of all time, then by all means keep thinking that. I am after all just a dude on the internet talking about things that you may or may not agree with. And on that note, I want to say thank you for watching all the way to the end. It means the world to me. And until we meet again, bye bye.